just gone live. Hopefully that has been picked up. It has been picked up. Just making sure that that is mine. That's sorted out like it has. I can hear my own voice, so I know for a fact that's good as well. So I will start putting together the announcement then, so that way we can get going quick, get going on time tonight. Alright, good. So, welcome, everyone. Round 4 of Season 7 in ALR Esports. So, it's going to be, for the first time, around Grand Valley for ALR. It's not necessarily a new track, so to speak, but it's going to be a new one for ALR. It's going to be a fun one tonight. We get to see the quality of racing around the streets. I think it's LA, Grand Valley. So I'm just going to put the announcement out now. GT Esports League and GT driver. So that's set up. Just waiting on Jack's stuff. God damn it, BX. Yeah, that announcement will go out as soon as Jack has sorted out his stream. We've got 16 people already in the lobby for Lobby A. So everyone got ready early today. We continue to move on in the season. Everyone just getting themselves into position now. Don't forget, when it comes to the season itself, this will mark essentially 2/3 of the way through the elimination stage, qualifying stage, whichever you wish to actually call it. Bearing in mind, for those who are new to the channel, first thing first, don't forget to like and subscribe if you do all that. Just doing a YouTube push recently and hoping to expand the audiences a little bit. But for those new to the channel, new to esports and how it works, the first 6 weeks, all 15 teams that we currently have, we had a new team join during the week, fight for 5 positions. The top 5 from the league, after 6 weeks of racing, will go into double points races. There will be essentially a single lobby, what is currently Lobby A now, will just turn into a singular lobby. And those 5 teams will race in double length, well, 1.5 times races for length races for double the point. We started usually about half an hour earlier for those. The 5 teams that are currently in those positions for week 7, week 8 are in this Lobby A. So how qualifying works is the top 5 teams in the championship will be in Lobby A for qualifying. The next 5 teams will be in Lobby B, and then the next 5 teams after that in Lobby C. All those sorted out as they go along, but the 5 that are looking to be in the actual week 7 and week 8 races are currently in the lobby with us. I'm still waiting on Jack trying to get his YouTube stream up, then we'll get going. But yeah, I need to figure out whether or not Scotty's meant to be racing. Oh, and it does ALR the Aero GT? No, it's Hurricane. If I could actually type, it would be appreciated. Has he put up the stream yet? He has not. Right, we're going to get a couple minutes. It's going to be not too long before that gets set up. Actually, as I said that, he has put the stream link in, so we can get going in a split second here. Announcements. I can put the second of the YouTube links in there. Put the one up in announcements. There we go. And I can now put a starting soon into this lobby, so we can get going in about a minute or so. Everyone's had more than enough time. It's been about 10 minutes since the last 16th person joined this lobby, so we'll get going at 02. For those who are new to the league, welcome. Hope you enjoy watching and enjoy your stay with the channel. For those who are regular to this group, this format, the league, the channel itself, and welcome back. Let's get going for racing here in round 4 then. I think everyone's had enough time. I'm going to do one more double check of the settings, and then we can go with start qualifying here then. Set up. We'll go through each team in the lobby as we go along. Let's see who's going to be out. Hello, DRS. Welcome. Who's going to be the first out then in qualifying in lobby A then? And we'll go through the teams one by one. Currently, NWR has a 47-point lead. So we'll just get another set on what's going on. So it was PR1 lapping, so we'll go and find him. Our lapping GT who's got out first. Let's P1R then, the first person, the first team on the track with lapping. Go through everyone in that team then to start with. So lapping is in a GTR. We saw him race last week. Then you got Kevin, who was in Lobby A as well last week at Watkins Glen. Started well, kind of faltered in the middle, had an incident in the process. It kind of damaged his race quite heavily. He got a penalty on his first lap here. And in the American, then we got the Dark Knight, who's been a factor since the start for P1R in the GTR then. And we've got after that BX and Zico. As you can see, the Project Platypus card getting out very quickly to try and get laps on the board early on. So BX is in a Ferrari 458. They might get nuked into oblivion later on with the Spec 3 update. I was forgetting what was actually called for a split second then. And then you've got Zico in a, I believe that's a GTR down the hill there on the slipstream of his teammate. Everyone who can hear, I hope everyone can hear me properly. But yeah, BX and Zico started their laps. Now we'll sit with them in a second. And then also Kellen making his debut this season in the Merc for Project Platypus then. The Irishman on board on what has been a pretty good weekend for the Irish in general. Let's see if he can add to it. And we've got ITM on board as well. Newcamfran's missed out on Lobby A last week, but he's in the Merc and he's back. PZN is in the Citroen, and Alessandro, I believe that is a McLaren for ITM, the 3 Italians for Italian Team Motorsport, because, you know, that makes sense. In FGR then, we've got Millis in the Merc, Attengren in his RCZ that he's been in for the entirety of the season, and Vigo in the GTR trying to get himself up and running again. Time I saw him, was in, I can't remember we saw him last week, but we did see him in Alsace. He was doing pretty well until a mistake there. And he was able to recover it with the strategy. And then in the lead of the championship, we've got Mumu in the M3, Lewis is a Super 97, and Jensen in the Suzuki, the NWR trio that we've come to be familiar with. Did not race anyone. Lewis is the only one that raced all four. It's also the first time they've not had all, actually the second time this season, last week, that they didn't have all three in Lobby A. We'll see if they can rectify that as they look to build on a 47-point advantage, with BX coming to the line now then. So what is the benchmark at the start of the very first ALR lap at Grand Valley? It is a 47.2, and it is actually the best of the four so far. The Dark Knight beating out his teammate by 6 tenths of a second, and Kevin, having served the penalty, the lap is not really representative. Mumu to the line now, 47.1. Able to beat BX by just under a tenth of a second. Vigo is in there as well, about 300 off the line. Mumu is beaten by Jensen, as Jensen is a 46.3. All of a sudden, that benchmark is now set 8 tenths further up. That is a monster lap. That is an absolute gigantic lap there for Jensen. 47.4 for Alessandro, puts him into 7th at the moment. Jensen going purple again. Let's see if Jensen's going to be able to beat his lap. He might run into a little bit of traffic around this time. Millis and Attengren are trying to help each other around, but it didn't look too confident there from the M6. Suzuki is absolutely flying at the moment. 8 tenths of a second quicker. Oh, sliding just a little bit there in the middle sector. Continue on in this qualifying session. I'm going to bring up the YouTube on my phone now, just so I can actually have the comments on the side of my, just so I can actually see them in full. I get them in the bottom corner of my screen anyway, but never usually in full. Looks like Jensen now only 7 tenths up as Zika goes into second. Pit now for Vigo, for BX and Mumu as well. I think Jensen, who was quicker for a long time in that lap, is going to jump in as well. Zico is going to pit probably the end of the lap. Miller's 47.1, good enough for 5th right now. BX is on an out lap now. Kellen did a 47.2, that jumps him up to 6th. They'd have done teammate actually. The entire group separated by well, outside of Lewis, has just gone over the line actually to set a 47.0 and put himself up in a second, cut that gap to 6.5 tenths. Now all of a sudden, NWR are in control again. They just keep going. They've been in control of this championship since the start, bearing in mind, for those who haven't been paying too much attention to the championship to this point, SGR are trying to three-peat. They've won the last 2 seasons of ALR Esports. They're drawing a blank so far this season in terms of fighting NWR. NWR 47 points clear at the top of the championship through 3. This will mark the halfway point of the season as a whole. NWR just trying to build as much of a gap as they possibly can. Continue on. Zico, is he pitting? He is not pitting. He is a significant amount slower, though. He probably should have pitted there. Admittedly, it would only mean he'd get 1 more lap out of it. If he was lucky. No, he would have got 1 more lap out of it for saying I would have pit if I was Zico. Millis is actually going in, so Millis was on that same line of thinking. who is actually on that right now. Oh, ITM PZN has just upped himself up into 10th. He got himself just inside of a second of Jensen's time. 46.4 for Lewis now then. And all of a sudden that gap has dropped from 6 tenths of a second to 1.5 tenths of a second. Lewis has put an electric lap in. One thing's certain, NWR found this qualifying session to be quite profitable. And Lewis has dove into the wall to get out of the way of multiple drivers. His own teammate now coming round, and now he's going onto the track. He's managed to not impede Attengren on the way through. Jensen currently out on a fast lap. Let's see who's closest to the line. I think it's Zico, the closest to the line outside the one just crossing. So we'll see who that is. Is there an improvement for the car at the line? It does not look like it. So nothing coming for the car that just over the line. We'll sit with Zico now then as we head into the night now at Grand Valley. Shouldn't get too much darker than it currently is. Grand Valley will be one of those interesting tracks. We've never actually ran here before in ALR. Zico and BX using each other for slipstream. Zico's lap is obviously a lot worse, but BX's isn't. It's a 44.6 for BX, and he's within a quarter of a second now of Jensen and Lewis. But I fear that might have been his biggest chance. I also think that Zico's qualifying over and done with. Vigo, 46.7, Miru to the line, 46.7 as well, only just beating Vigo, but not being able to beat BX. So it won't be a 1-2-3 here then, for NWR, unless Mumu's got something in this final lap. We're about to hit the 10 minute mark, we have actually hit the 10 minute mark, so we are now into final laps. Alessandro will be the first to the line. He is currently best lap of the 47.4. He's going to have to get himself into the 46s to be competitive today. Is he going to be able to do it? Round the final corner he goes. The McLaren to the line. He elected to have no slipstream all the way down. I don't know if there's a 46 in this. It's a 47.2. Good enough for 9th. Gained a couple of places on the way through, but we'll see if that's going to be good enough later on. Zico's qualifying session is over. I think that's BX then next to the line. I don't know if BX is currently up on his lap. We're about to find out. He goes round the final corner. Is there an improvement here for the Ferrari? Down to the line goes BX, 44, 45, 46, 46.8. It's not good enough to improve. Kevin to the line here then. Kevin, 47.6. The Dark Knight, not improving. It's not a good day for the group at PR1. Not an improvement here for Vigo, but there is one for Mumu, and it's 1, 2, 3 at the moment. And I think they may have stayed that way. 46.7 for both Attengren and Millis. And that will be the end of qualifying. So it's Jensen, 46.3 on pole for NWR, followed by Lewis, well, pole in Lobby A as far as we know, anyway. That's a big thing to actually say, but I don't actually know if there's going to be anyone from Lobby B or Lobby C or get remotely close to any of this. Bear in mind we had pole from outside Lobby A last week at Watkins Glen with Misha, I believe it was on pole. But yeah, Lewis in second for VQ for NWR, sorry, and then Mumu in third. All split by 1.5 tenths of a second. BX in fourth, the lone man for Project Platypus, which split NWR and FGR. FGR 5, 6, 7. And you got Vigo, followed by Attingham, followed by Miller. So it's team... Well, it's going to be team warfare here for a little bit in this one. Teamwork going to be at an all-time high. You've got Kellen in 8th, Zico in 9th from Lobby A, Alessandro in 10th, PZN in 11th. And then you've got the Dark Knight in 12th, Lappin in 13th, Newcomfren in 14th. And you've got Kevin in the rear of the field. The entire group split by 1.3 seconds. I wonder where the cutoff is. Personally, I reckon it'll be somewhere around here. 147.3 seems to be what I reckon would be the cutoff point. Let's see if I've got any messages down the line here with the Discord. Jensen saying that he didn't questioning what the slip is. Slip being unreal. Grand Valley being seemingly one of those for slipstreams, potentially. I wouldn't have pegged that as the sentence I'd be saying. Coming into the fastest in Lobby C was 2/10 slower than the slowest person in Lobby A. Ouch. That's not good news for Lobby C, so we won't lose anyone there, so it's all about what has happened in Lobby B then. It's all about what's happened in Lord Hans' lobby. We'll figure that out as we go along. For those who are watching, this is just the moment in time where all the different lobbies are currently going through their qualifying sessions and finishing their qualifying sessions. And then we'll get a flip in who is in what lobby at the end of those qualifying sessions. So we're just going to have to kill a little bit of time here. I wonder what is going to happen here. So nothing going to change from Lobby C then. Especially if that is the case. Jack, you're so bored. Jack, just make stuff up at this point. You just waffle. It's the easiest way to fill the time. I'm currently just talking about the 1, 2, 3 for NWR. They're 47 points up already, and the longer they keep putting on these kind of performances, the better it's going to get. In terms of waiting for round 6 to kick in, getting that reduction of just the top 5 teams, figuring out who those top 5 teams are going to be, and then capitalizing for the double points races later on in the season. Apparently, Bada Big has decided to deliver a missile lap. Oh, Bada Big in P4, 46 something could be interesting just to split the FGR and NWR just a little bit more. I'll admit, I want these two teams, FGR and NWR, to fight as much as humanly possible. I genuinely want those two teams to be at each other's throats for the rest of the season. I want to see the title go as long as humanly possible. Right now, NWR having a way throughout the first half of the season. OB still haven't finished quali wide. Why have Lobby B not finished qualifying? 44.655. Yep, that would be just behind BX. 655 would be just before, just after BX and just before Vigo, so he would start in 5th. Hill is +4 10th, so would be about 47.0, put him in around where Zico is. Oh, we'll get rid of 2 then. That'll be Kevin gone and New Chem friend gone, so ITM losing a driver from Lobby A and P1R losing a driver for Lobby A. Those 2 teams are the 2 teams on the brink with 4 and 5 at the moment. So I don't think they could afford that, but we'll see if there's going to be any teams from Lobby B, Lobby C at the moment in qualifying able to actually try and usurp them a couple of weeks ago after Grand Valley. I think after this might ask a few people how they thought of this track, because there may be more races to come on this track if people are comfortable racing on it. That's what I'll be interested in later on. You reckon the lobbies could be the same? I don't think they will. No, I don't think they will be. They definitely won't be. We know for a fact we've lost 2 people from Lobby A. That is a definite fact now. If Hill is 4 tenths behind Bada Big and Bada Big's done a 46, and then put Bada Big well and truly into Lobby A. And around these 2. Which will create a little bit more of a mountain for FGR to climb. Also, for everyone that's watching, especially people from the esports teams, if you've got teams that you know may be interested, feel free to let us know. We are going to start our recruitment drive for next season after this race. We also have not got a graphic for a calendar, but have started to put together next season's calendar. That should be out, I hope, by the end of tomorrow. Preferably want it to be Tuesday at the absolute latest. Everyone's starting to pour in now. Welcome to the stream as we just finish up from Lobby B and Lobby C. But yeah, we are just starting to develop the calendar. We had started talks for that. For those who have been here before, aware of how the calendar usually works in esports, you'll know what the final round of next season will be. It's a rotation of tracks that we usually keep for the final round of esports. There's been 4 on a rotating wheel, basically. From season to season. Next season being season 8, we'll see the return of the St. Croix C to end the season off. But yeah, that's the only part of the calendar I'll give away on stream. There'll be a graphic going out for that sooner rather than later. Looks like I think Lobby B's just finished up because a bunch of their drivers are now starting to communicate in chat, so we shouldn't be too much longer before the race itself gets underway. Appreciate everyone sticking by as everything just gets sorted out. On that note, how is everyone doing tonight so far? I haven't actually asked that up to this point. How is everyone doing tonight, though, in the stream? I am doing pretty good. I'm enjoying how everything's going at the moment. And it looks like people are starting to up and leave the room, which means we might actually have the message from BX, and we do. So, Lobby A is as follows. Jensen, followed by Lewis, followed by Mumu, is the top 3. That is confirmed. BX in 4th. Badabig does in fact get 5th. I will end this race now then, so people can sort themselves out. Vigo is in 6th, Statengren in 7th, then Millis in 8th, Kellen in 9th, Zico in 10th, then it's Hill, Cameron in 11th. So Liv's Racing Cabin has 2 in the lobby. There's Ahmed in 12th, Yannick in 13th for GTSRL. Again, he has been putting up some lap times this season. Alessandro in 14th and Apex Latari. So a different Apex name in the list this time. Has made it into Lobby A. I'm pretty sure this has been the first week. Oh, no. Yeah, it's the first week which Panic Potato has not been in Lobby A. I've actually done the race itself, done qualifying, so it's going to be the first time he's actually not shown up in Lobby A, legitimately on pace. Someone's just joined, so we'll wait a small while before I flip this over and allow them to join. Obviously, it can't rain at Grand Valley because imagine having rain in the States, apparently. I think that's everyone. Nope, it's apparently not. Things you love to see, isn't it? When this game just doesn't actually let you flip everything over so I can actually do the race. It would be appreciated for the game to actually let me do that. Just let me set the goddamn lobby. Should not be this difficult. Custom weather, ×1. Set by host. Finally. There you go. Now I can do the actual lobby in order where people join. People enter in. I think that's everyone entered, apart from Jensen. There you go. That's all 15 drivers entered. I can now change the grid order, and we can go down the list once again. For those who have just joined or have were not here when I was reading out the results of qualifying, it is Jensen, from Lewis, from Mumu in 3rd. Then we've got BX. Where is he? BX is in 4th. Badabig sits in 5th. They got Millers. Or is it Vigo? It's Vigo, and then it's Attengren, and then it's Millers. The 3 FGR boys in a row, 6, 7, and 8. Then we've got Kellen in 9th. Where is Kellen McColgan? There he is. And then we've got Zico in 10th. And we've got Cameron in 11th. Ahmed in 12th. Yannick in 13th. Alessandro 14th, and the Latari rearing the field. Bearing in mind, for those who are aware, we've had 14 in each lobby up to this point. In Lobby A, purely because we've had 14 teams. Now that we had a 15 team join in between the race at Watkins Glen and at here at Grand Valley, each lobby will be filled with 15 as and when each team fields 3 drivers. So top 15 is now a resumption in Lobby A, which allowed for Latari to join us in the top lobby for Apex Racing. I will put a starting. Well, actually, I won't put a starting soon. I'll wait for Bada Big to say he's good. Then we'll put a starting soon. That should be everything. Yep, that is everything. I've got that sorted out, which means now we're good to go. So we are now just waiting on Bada Big returning, as he just put. So now we can put in the starting soon, and we will go at 30, probably about 30. Give it a couple more minutes to get everything everything sorted. A tie from Alessandro, from Yannick at the back with Ahmed, then Cameron, then Zico, Kellen, Milos, Attigren, Bigo, the 3 FGR. This is a very important trio, and all 3 of these being at the same time is huge. We'll go at 31. I feel like everyone had enough time to sort out what they wish to sort out. But these 3 being together is going to be absolutely massive. And so is the same for these 3 at the front. If Bada Big and BX aren't able to do anything straight away, they get overtaken by FGR, we might have a heavyweight clash. The opposite could also be true if Bada Big and BX get off to a good start. We will take one more look at the settings, make sure everything is correct. It looks like it is, so we can go racing at Grand Valley for the first time. Maybe a massive day. The first ever official race for ALR at Grand Valley in the States. The 3rd trip we've had to the States so far this season. The headlights blaring out. Only one of the yellow headlights on as we got the light come on now with 4, 5 red lights. It's lights out and away we go towards the start. Lewis has not got off to a great start whatsoever. One person who has is BX, and so is Jensen. BX looking to take positions into the first turn. He's got one, he's got past Mumu. If he can get an electric X, he might get a second. Almost squished into the wall by the M3, but he's up ahead of the NWR driver Mumu. And all of a sudden, we're not going to have the 3 in a row anymore. Also looks that way in the back as well, in the midfield, as FGR have just dropped off to Kellen. Oh, and Ahmed's hit the back of Kellen, and there's a bunch of drivers that have just been all over the place at the start. And that reminds me to actually put in my keyboard. That's one thing I actually hadn't done so far. If my PS5 will actually play ball, so we can actually have replays. The start, Kellen getting away with it a little bit there. He just got pushed wide, but then it looked like Ahmed and company had been absolutely shoved into the side. I'm not entirely sure what happened. Cameron is at the back of the grid. We're not going to get a proper view of that, however, because everything has just kicked off. Yannick, Ahmed and Cameron right at the back of the grid now, so they're tailed off just a little bit. I assume those 3 were involved in some capacity. The Alessandro in 12th, Zico in 11th, Latari gained 5 already, up into 10th. Then it's Attigren in 9th, Kellen in 8th, Millis in 7th, Vigo in 6th, Bada Big in 5th, Mumu in 4th, BX in 3rd, and then Lewis and Jensen at the front of the grid. We went from back to front. The real question now is the tyres. Is anyone else actually off of the soft tyres? Everyone stay on the same side. We've got damage. It's Attigren who is in the wall, and we might get a replay of that one. It looks like, oh, it just looks like everything just went wrong. I'm not entirely sure what he got caught by, but he got stuck in the middle there. And everything's going to go badly if you get caught. Attigren, that is an awful start for FGR. Alessandro looked to have got caught up in it because he dropped to 14th. We now got 4 or 5 drivers that have just been absolutely involved in the, in their talking points. Someone else kicking up some polystyrene in the background there. We'll see if anything else is going to unfold here then. Well, like Bada Big under fire from both the other FGR drivers at the moment there, Vigo and Millis. Both of them trying to make their way forward as they lost one of their drivers at the start. With Attengren at the end of the first lap being dropped all the way to the back. He is now quite some way at the back as well. Badabig in 5th, Mumu in 4th, not really testing BX an awful lot. And BX is 1.2 seconds off the lead of the race, but it's right behind Lewis. If he can get to Lewis, he might be able to challenge Jensen. The BX being a perennial thorn in the side of NWR at the moment. Perfect night not going the way not going entirely to plan for NWR. But again, this situation they will take because it just extends that gap at the lead just that little bit further. It was 47 at the beginning of the day. It'll extend over the 60-point mark if they end as it is. As to the person who said this, the Tier 4 blue commentator, it's Pyro on the comms, in the comms box. Admittedly, I've been doing this a lot longer than I've been doing the Tier 4 comms, so I'll tell you that much. Jensen 1.2 seconds ahead of Lewis now as he starts to pull away. BX still 4/10 of a second behind Lewis, so there is an opportunity for BX to start forcing the issue before Mumu gets a hold of it. Looked like Lewis may have kicked up a little bit of dirt there. BX is absolutely flying on the infield. There is an opportunity if he wants it. He's within 0.3 of a second. This may open up. Whether it be this corner or the next, it's going to open up for BX. He's within 0.2 of a second, or just over 0.2 of a second now. A good exit will do it. It looks like Lewis's acceleration just keeps him at bay for now. Mumu's, however, is just stopping him from gaining any ground. Vigo needs to get back onto the back of Mumu right now, so FGR are able to start picking off the burgundy reds as soon as they can. Don't forget, the longer this goes, the worse it gets for FGR at the moment. Badabig is currently in 7th now, losing out to both the FGR drivers, so they did pick one off. Kellen is looking to do the same. He goes round, looking the outside of the final corner. Doesn't quite get anything on the Dutch here. Is there going to be anything to the inside against the Dutch? Now he's well and truly alongside on Badabig. Round on the inside, the outside of turn 1, the inside of turn 2. A good exit will have the position here for the Irishman. And I think he's going to get it. A lot of headlights blaring in the sun, in the night sky. And Kellen is definitely getting this now. And Badabig is going to have to step on the brake just a little bit to make the corner. And that will mean that Kellen will take 7th place. And he moves up. So we've got 2 Project Platypus in the fight in the top 7. We've got 2 FGRs in the top 7. And then obviously the 3 NWRs, the top 3 of the championship, occupying the top 7 spots in the race. And there's a lot of race still to go, however. We're on 4:40 for the first ever round at Grand Valley in an ALR championship that isn't just endurance. Looks like Mumu is actually being caught just a little bit by Vigo now. Vigo needs to put himself in position to go after that M3. He's in a far superior car. The opportunities will open up. Lewis has broken away from BX on this lap. Now the top 2 have managed to clear themselves just a little bit of space. This is not good news for BX now, because this slipstream is going to turn into an absolute nightmare for him. In that Ferrari down the straight. This back straight is going to be extremely painful for him now. We go down the wall, turn 1. BX will still hang on for now. Mumu is going to look to that inside line. He go lunge for it. BX is going to hang around the outside. They're still side by side up the hill. BX should get a better exit. But Mumu will have the inside line down the hill. Who's going to have the better exit as we head down towards the bottom of the hill now? BX still has the slight advantage, but the inside line is with the MWR driver. That's going to do one hell of an outside exit. Hold on, and it's not. Mumu up in a third. A couple of corners it took. Side by side with the Project Platypus driver. But in the end, it's now restored the NWR 1-2-3. Well, Vigo not that far behind BX now. 3, 4, and 5 are well and truly fighting it out in this race. Well, that didn't look good. Someone clipping just a little bit of the dirt as they head onto the back straight over the bridge. Didn't look like anything was happening there. It looks like Vigo is really charging BX down now. That might be an opportunity. BX made a mistake and he's been punished for it. Vigo up in the fourth. He has got to go after the burgundy red now. FGR need the points. They desperately need the points. Looks like Vigo has managed to get himself back within a second of the car in front. Millis is really going after BX now as well, and we might have that monster battle we thought we were going to get. Just starting to open up for FGR now. Didn't look like FGR, didn't look like Millis was going for that down the inside of BX there. We head into the hairpin mid-lap now for lap 6 at Grand Valley. I'd like to repeat the fact that it's the first time we've been here in a proper series, not a side series, for in ALR. Last trip being Endurance when it first got released. There has been a lot of seasons since we last saw people driving around this track on this channel. Continue on. Looks like Mumu 2 seconds off the back of Lewis. Is just trying to hold Vigo at bay right now. VX again sliding his way through the corner in the back of the screen there. Dropped off the second marker. That doesn't sound good because it's not good. And Vigo is round. How did that happen? Let's take a quick look, and that is going to hand Mumu a glorious opportunity to just dart away now. Oh, he just lost it under traction. Never really looked like he was getting it back either, and he's all the way down in 13th, and FGR Day just goes from bad to worse. He's got him and Attengren there, 13th and 14th. Alessandro currently right behind Latari, dropped into 11th now. Yannick got in front in the last couple of laps. Latari's just got to keep himself ahead of Alessandro now, just try and keep himself involved with the pack. Ahmed right on the back of Zico, who's not really having the greatest of races at the moment. Badabig not that far in front of them. With Kellen and BX in 5th and 6th. Millis in 4th ahead of BX now. The FGR does still have a 4th place driver. They're just losing backup. That's what they're doing. And this is starting to feel like Shades of Season 2. That's what it's just starting to feel like. You're getting more and more down the line where FGR had one driver and no backup. Just the little things, the mistakes as they continue to go lap to lap, race to race, that have just opened the door for somebody to knock them off the perch. Somebody's got to give them a fight. Somebody's got to give NWR a fight here. Lewis and Jensen within 6/10 of a second of each other. We continue on in this race up to this point. See if there's going to be any sort of push again. They'll push back on the Burgundy Red and see if they're going to fight between each other as well, just to get involved in this one up to this point. Jensen, Lewis still 1 and 2. Mumu 2.5 seconds further off that than BX in 4th, because BX has got ahead of Millis, who's had a problem himself. Let's see if they can see. No, Millis is down in 8th now. We can't see what happened. Apologies for missing that. But Millis is down all the way in 8th. Badabit's got a 0.5 second penalty, so he might get something back, and all of a sudden, the day just goes from bad to worse. Somehow FGR, who had 3 drivers poised to go toe-to-toe with the Burgundy Red of NWR, are all down at the back of the grid because they've all made separate mistakes. And if NWR didn't need more of a glorious opportunity than what they've been handed right now, one thing's for certain, if they don't extend the points on this race by quite some distance, they're never going to get a better chance. I think that's the easy way of saying this. This is just as open as it gets now. Honestly, if I'm Project Platypus, they're a massive opportunity to take advantage and try to get into 2nd. Take this advantage, go after NWR yourselves. Here comes Zico to the inside of Badabik, but rather the outside of turn 2. Nothing really happening for Zico here in this fight. Millis is trying to get himself involved as well. It don't look like we have any switch in position at the start of the lap. Millis has got to get himself back now. Not sure what happened to him, but now it's a recovery drive. Zico to the inside. Almost looked like he was going to leave a little bit in on Badabik then. No, it looked like it was more defending from Millis than anything else. He's going to have to defend again because Millis has pointed his car on the inside now. And Millis again is almost round. Somehow avoided damage. Oh, and he gets tagged by Ahmed. And it continues to go from bad to worse. That is incident number 4. And if you're Vigo, Millis might be the last person you want to see right now. Millis made the mistake on the lap. Hit the wall, managed to avoid the damage, kept the car going, but in turn couldn't actually, and then Ahmed just left a little bit too much in, trying to go to the inside and pushed Millis into the wall. And this is just not the day you would want to see for the yellow, white and black. Currently sitting in 11th, 12th and 13th now with FGR, and that's the headline of the day so far. Well, it's good evening, Rupi. You're not going to like what you're seeing. Kellen ahead of Badabik by a second at the moment. After that, a half-second penalty leaves him 1.5 off BX. BX needs a mountain and a miracle to climb to get past to get back to Mumu. Now the problem you've got is asking for drivers in the same team to make those same mistakes that FGR just made. The problem is they're being entirely unforced errors. They don't really have to drive particularly quick now. This has just got to be controlled. The entire way back has just got to be controlled for these drivers. If you're Kellen, if you're Badabik, if you're BX, I think the idea should be to start working together. To be completely honest with you, to just start working together, see if you can fashion a way to try and close that gap. BX obviously 2 seconds clear of Kellen at the moment. They've got to do something to close that nearly 5-second advantage to the car in front. Never mind to the lead anymore. It's 8.5 advantage to the lead. That's never a good sign. Let's see if we got any sort of fighting in this group of cars then. About a big half a second off the back of Kellen. Looks like Ahmed trying to get himself involved with the top 7 as well. Further back, Latari's back into 10th, trying to take advantage of other people's mistakes. We're apparently not far away from the first set of pit stops going on then, because you can see Ahmed's fuel is into the red. Not quite blinking yet, but has just started actually. We head into the red fuel, so only 1 or 2 more laps at most before we start seeing the pits. That's where the strategies are going to start to vary just a little bit. Ahmed is actually, Alessandro has got himself back involved here, so Latari's in this fight as well. They catch up to the back of Zico, and they can see Kellen and Badabig in the foreground as the top 5 through 10, all about to start fighting. See that dirt being kicked up more and more as we continue on. Badabig is right on the back of Kellen now. Any mistakes are going to get pounced on. It looks like Badabig to the inside. Gets a lot of Kellen there. Almost pushes Kellen through. Did it the side of that Project Platypus car. Doesn't decide to attack until now, the following corner. And Badabig looks to try and get past Kellen. And he will get past Kellen with the inside line now. And Badabig is up in a 5th. Looks like we're just starting to form a queue from 5th backwards. VX is comfortably gone now as well, but he's also 6 seconds off the back of Mumu. And the more we go, the worse it gets. Here comes Badabig into the pits. Kellen's going to follow him in. Kellen's got slightly more fuel. Ahmed's going to follow him in as well. Vigo and Millis, and I assume that means Attingren's going in as well, and he is. Cameron looking to the pit lane, will follow them in, and then Yannick, who is in 15th now, after something has happened to him, will now jump to 8th after half the grid pit on the last lap. Like Lewis is still in the lead from Jensen in 2nd, Mumu in 3rd. BX has still got a lot of fuel, doing maybe a little bit of fuel saving to try and gain some of that advantage back. That now reaches 6 seconds to the car in 3rd, and 9 seconds, nearly 10 seconds to the car in the lead of the race. The longer it goes, the worse it gets realistically here for everyone else in this lobby. Zico ahead of Alessandro, 4/10 of a second to split those two. Latari's got a half-second time penalty and dropped slightly off the back of Alessandro as well. Wonder where that'll bring him out later into this race. We continue on in this one. The penalty line just about to kick in for Latari. You see right at the start of this straight is where the penalty line kicks in, so you're not really getting a chance to respond. Zico still ahead of Alessandro as well. Lewis still a second, well actually now only a second ahead of Jensen. We might see some pit stops now. We won't see some pit stops now. Those two drive past. Mumu will dive in. He's basically out of fuel. So Mumu into the pit for his first stop. BX is going to be able to go for at least another 2 or 3 laps at this point. So we'll see how that plays in. Continue on. Zico is staying out. Mumu, Alessandro, and Latari all went into the pits. Yannick is going to dive in as well. That means that only the top 4 have now not pitted up to this point. Mumu putting in 54%, coming out another set of softs. So I assume that's going to be a 2-stop strategy here. Then for Mumu with mediums to go on at the end. Real question, is it going to be 15 laps or 16 laps of mediums, I reckon. They may have to endure. He is 8 seconds ahead of Badabig now, who's out ahead of Alessandro Company. Everyone has done their first pit stop outside the top 4, so everyone has reset themselves. Vigo right on the back of Kellen, so Vigo needs to make his way back through. He is ahead of Millis, he is ahead of Attingren right now. He's on medium tires as well. So it's actually all of the FGR drivers electing to get that medium tire out of the way early. Same with Kellen. Latari gone on to another set of softs, as did the 3 in front of him. Badabig currently being charged down by Ahmed in the Ferrari at the moment. The Ferrari is doing fairly well in this one. Right, Lewis in, Jensen in. BX is maybe going to go one more. I wonder. He is going to go one more, so he's going to assume the race, so there isn't going to be a Grand Slam here for NWR. BX will assume at least one lap of the lead of the race. Doesn't really affect the fact that they are going to do much damage at the moment. Mumu is going to get out now then. So Jensen out the pits, Lewis out the pits. The real question is, how close is Mumu to the two of them? The answer is, while both of these two are fighting, Lewis and Jensen, with Lewis taking the lead of the race again. Well, net race lead, rather. Well, this could get very interesting now then. They just took a chunk of each other's time out of on this restart. It's now Mumu is within about 2.5 seconds. A little bit of contact there between Jensen and Lewis as well. Lewis is just starting to slide a little bit. They went on to another set of softs with all 3 of those drivers. Mumu is going to start closing that in the more those two, more Jensen and Lewis fight. A little bit of infighting, and realistically this has to be as controlled as it gets now for the group at the front. Mumu is just starting to close that gap in. Badabig's holding Ahmed at bay for now. Alessandro is trying to get himself involved as well. Latari 3.5 seconds off the back of Alessandro, just starting to lose pace with the group he was with just slightly. Now bring Kellen into the fight with Latari as well. Bearing in mind, those at the front, all of the guys at the top, what, 6, 7, no, top 9 at the moment, minus BX and Zico just pitted. They've got to use medium tires at some point. Looks like Lewis has just gained a little bit of an advantage over Jensen, so BX looks to the medium tires now then. I had a lot of fuel for a soft run, so it's going to be medium tires that go on the car for the Project Platypus driver. And I think it's going to be the same here for Zico as well. Alessandro beats him out. Latari beats him out, potentially. This is going to be close. Latari is going to beat him out. So BX gets ahead of Kellen at the frontmost medium tire runner at the moment. Zico out behind Millis and company. Out ahead of Attengren, but behind Vigo and Millis, as Vigo still tries to hunt down Kellen. The strategy just starting to collide now. We'll see if Vigo's got a move on Kellen here. Oh, a little bit more dirt being kicked up. I think that was from in front with BX, however. The tires just starting to squeal a little bit. Vigo is pushing Kellen at every point now. Got to fashion an opportunity. Get in front of Kellen. You can try and charge down BX, because we know BX was in pin net P4 before all the strategies start to kick in, so that's where you're aiming for. If you can't get NWR, you need to get the next best place. That'll be an opportunity for them as we go along. Right now, Kellen just sliding just that little bit more out of that chicane. We head toward the final corner on the lap. Second to last now with the final corner in the tunnel. Vigo has been right tethered to the back of Kellen the entire lap. Is there an opportunity now? BX is actually being caught up on the lap here. Vigo looking for it, still looking for it, takes a little bit of a look to the inside, manages to think he's just slightly too far back, so he's going to be stuck again, just a little bit longer. We're about 0.3 of a second split in the two. It just looks like Vigo's running out of chances to get past Kellen at the moment. Both of them sliding the car on the exit of the hairpin there. That's not how you get an overtake, that's how you get a gap increased. A little bit forward, Zico going backwards actually. Zico about a second ahead of Attengren at the moment. The rest of the group not close. Let's see, going further forward there. So Ahmad is now outside the second gap to Badabig, who's currently 8.8 off the back of Mumu at the moment. BX 21 seconds off the group as well. So you think the longer this goes, the worse it's going to get. They're on medium tires at the moment. The guys at the front are on soft, so the gap is just going to continuously extending for the foreseeable future. About lap 25 is where I expect people to pit again. If you're on the medium tire, you might go to about the 28, 27 mark. Try and get yourself on as much, try and do as much on soft as you can. There you go, just trying to push the needle just a little bit now. He's still on the back, tethered to the back of Kellen. All it takes is for one good lap here for Vigo, and he had a brilliant opportunity because now Kellen is right on the back of BX. And these two teams have a very storied past. Project Platypus and FGR have a very, very storied past in the in ALR in particular. We'll see if there's going to be any sort of movement between the two as we continue on. BX has now broken that second marker back on Kellen all over again. That means Vigo's just going to have to put a little bit more pressure on now then. Millis is also trying to get involved. Zico is really under fire as well. You can see that it's all three of the drivers for Project Platypus under fire from all three of the drivers for FGR now. And whilst right now all three of the Project Platypus drivers are winning their battles against FGR, it's not really doing either team much favours. I wonder how long it's going to take for both teams to actually realise they have a common enemy at this point. That's the interesting part to me. How long is that going to take? Attengren looking to the outside of turn 1, the inside of turn 2! And Attengren has got itself up ahead of Zico for 12th. A slight amount of recovery drive going on now for FGR. Vigo's got a half-second penalty though, which will limit any chance of getting the two Project Platypus drivers in front of him. Actually might drop him back behind Millis. That'll be interesting. That will be interesting to see how close it'll put Vigo to Millis and if they're going to cost each other any sort of time. Vigo looks like the car in the yellow and white that got the pace to actually challenge. Not sure if he's going to continue to be able to do so under that penalty. Millis now 8/10 of a second back. I wonder if that's going to take Millis in front. It might have been a team exercise just a little bit here to see if they can get Millis in front. They have got Millis in front now then, so 1.5 seconds split those two between Kellen and Millis. The real question now really lies on whether or not they can get after Project Platypus. BX and Kellen, if they can work together here, they can create quite an inseparable gap. Oh, Kellen's going for a move! Kellen's going for the move! Alright, so Kellen's up ahead of BX now. I'm not entirely sure what the decision making there is, to be completely honest with you. Not sure Kellen's the faster of the two. BX is probably the better defender of the two. I'm not sure Kellen's the quicker. You need the quicker driver on... Well, if you want to bump, I guess, the quicker driver needs to be behind, but I don't know if you're going to get a lot of that on this track. It's a lot of cornering, especially in this at the end of this first sector, the beginning of the second sector. This double left-hander is devastating at times. So you're not going to get an awful lot of bumping. The question now lies in why did Kellen go for that? If anything, they're just going to start to hold each other up. Vigo and Millis in a similar situation, not that far back. I can see it's almost no RCS here, 2x2 in terms of the team. Millis has got himself almost within that second gap again. They have got themselves an opportunity here, FGR, if they can just find that 10th of a second. Get in some slipstream and then push themselves towards the Project Platypus drivers. I think Millis may have done it. He has got himself within the second, so the slipstream is starting to kick in. I just don't know if Millis has got the power to get past the Project Platypus driver. These lot been relatively close for a while now. Ahmed, Alessandro, Badabig also fairly close, fighting for fourth right now on track. Alessandro had a better line than Ahmed did there, but Ahmed was able to shut the door off. Two All Your Kingdoms not really doing much damage in the championship this season. They've got to right a couple of wrongs to see if they can try and push themselves towards that top 5. I genuinely don't think there's been a season since they came into the league in either version of Falcon and or this 2 Kingdoms where they missed that top 5 cut. They are currently on track to miss it quite handsomely. Every opportunity has not gone their way so far. Looking through, those three just going to stay as they are for now. Ahmed's going to be not close enough to Badabig, I don't think, realistically, to push the issue. We'll watch this and we'll go back to the fight in the midfield. Up through turn 1, then turn 2, and I think Alessandro has closed the gap on Ahmed more than Ahmed's closed the gap on Badabig. Badabig doing a very good job at the moment. They're all 14 seconds plus off the back now. The 10-second advantage to Mumu himself in third place is just becoming inseparable. Well, you're not really getting that back. I was trying to figure out the word for it for a minute then, but you're not really going to get that gap back unless you start making a lot. Well, if the NWR driver's got to make a lot of mistakes, or Badabig's got to find a lot of pace from somewhere. Lewis is right on the back of Jensen as Jensen is retaking the lead. NWR 1, 2, 3 at the moment. This has been quite the dominant display. I've not given them a lot of love up to this point. Numerous 3.9 seconds. He has really not been on the pace of the two at the front today. It's fine when you see that Mumu has a off day potentially by his standards, even though it is still top 3 and is in an M3. The two teammates have managed to pick up the slack and a 1, 2, 3 fastest lap, pole position. It's almost. The only thing they haven't done is led every lap of the race, in which they have led every lap of the race bar one. And that just puts into words realistically how dominant they have been in this particular race. It's just been outstanding, to be completely honest with you, up to this point. Jensen now 1.3 seconds ahead of Lewis. And that Suzuki just starting to gain a little bit of control. About a big 9-10 seconds ahead of Ahmed now. Ahmed's got a little bit less fuel as well. Alessandro will be in poise to try and snatch a couple of places off of these two. Got more fuel than both of the cars in front of him. He'll have to do last laps on the medium tyres as a result. Opportunity here for ITM then. Otari only 3.2 seconds off the back. That's been relatively stable since the last time we saw it. Kellen still ahead of BX. Not as well, flickering in and out of that second margin on Miller's behind him. And then it's Vigo after that. Then it's Attigren who's cleared Zico by quite some way. That's about 2 seconds, the gap between those two now. Attigren can get closer to Vigo, then FGR can start pushing forward. We've got Yannick after that, and Cameron has had a real day to forget. Jensen, 1.5 seconds up on Lewis now. We'll go back to this group of 3. Badabig still ahead of Ahmed, who's still ahead of Alessandro. Into the pits come Badabig, into the pits come Ahmed. So Alessandro will stay out a little bit longer, hasn't even clicked into the red yet. We'll see if there's going to be any sort of opportunity for Alessandro to get past Badabig and past Ahmed then with the fuel that he's going to, with the extra laps on the soft that he's going to do as a result of the fuel. .5 seconds the advantage for Mumu ahead of the next car on track. We're on lap 23 of 40 now in this race. The next set of pit stops should be coming up fairly soon. Can't see the cars electing, the drivers electing to do more than about 14 laps on these set of tyres. With that being said, the pit stops should be in the next 3 laps or so for those who haven't already pit off the soft tyres. Jensen not even in the red yet. Same for Lewis. Mumu is in the red, so you expect his pit stop to come sooner rather than later. Lewis is going to be in an excellent position to win this race, you know. He'll be in quite an outstanding position to try and win this one. If he can get himself in a little bit of that advantage cut down to Jensen, Lewis should win this from here. Callan still ahead of BX. BX still ahead of Miller. Vigo just sliding his car a little bit there and losing ground on the company in front of him. He has got to stay tethered to the back of Miller, so he's got to be ready for an opportunity to open up. It looks like Miller's is going to try and fashion that opportunity now. Miller's to the inside of turn 2. Millis has got the move on BX. And that is a good move there, and it's a move that FGR have needed to make for a long time now. Kellen next up then for Millis. Vigo's got to make the same move. Vigo has got to get ahead of BX now. Really wonder if there's going to be a move that's going to happen on this next lap. It looks like Vigo is just starting to call back to BX now after the mistake on the last lap. As long as BX doesn't get past BX doesn't get past Millis in 7th. FGR should be cooking with gas just a little bit. Millis needs to head towards Kellen. Got to go forward, not backwards at the moment. Mumu into the pits then. At the front of the grid, he'll go to medium tired on lap 24, do 16 to the end. I'd be very surprised if the opportunity allowed them to do anything other than that. 3 stops would not work here, I don't think, even though the pit lane is relatively short. Albeit it does have quite the sizable advantage already. Alessandro has come in as well, so we'll see if Alessandro can beat out the cars behind that he was fighting with. Badabig and Ahmed with the cars he was fighting with. Ahmed currently sitting at the back of the grid, right behind Cameron, who's given Badabig just a little bit of room, breathing space to deal with. Onto the medium tyre goes Alessandro, 16 laps to the end of the race. Alessandro is out. Alessandro is out ahead of Badabig as well. 1.6 seconds then. So Alessandro has gained 2 places. ITM came to, well, do a little bit of damage here. If Alessandro can get himself into a position now where he doesn't have to do too much defending, those 2 positions could be quite vital come the end of this. Yannick, the car in front, still has to pit. So does Zico. Albeit Zico's got a lot over half fuel left. I don't know if Zico does have to pit again. That's going to be relatively close then for Zico. Been driving very safely up to this point. Jensen into the pits now then. Attengren is right on the back of Mumu, but Mumu has pit twice. Attengren has not. That puts it into perspective that 6.5 seconds between Vigo and Mumu has already made its final stop. That is going to have to be fought all the way back here in this final stop, and Vigo is ahead of BX. We will see how that happened. BX was actually ahead of Kellen for a long time. Why have we gone all the way back here? Why are we on lap 8? I guess we're not going to see, because we've gone to lap 8 for some reason. Not entirely sure why it's done that, or why it does that. If someone could help me out with that, I'd appreciate it. Latari out of the pits now then. And only assume this is the medium tyre going on. Yannick will go on to soft, so those 2 will drop to the back. Latari might actually beat Ahmed out. Oh, he's just off the back of him. Just off the back of him. About 2 seconds. Latari has caught that up just a little bit. Cameron is on the back of Badabig at the moment as well. So Badabig got to get a move on before he starts holding his teammate up more than anything. Alessandro 2.4 seconds up the road now has got a lot of distance. Zico further up there as well. Attengren 3.7 seconds up the road from Zico. Still fighting with Attengren is still fighting with Mumu for now. BX now behind Vigo! And as soon as I said that, Vigo's in the wall again! And all of a sudden, Vigo's race is just taking a turn again. It looked like he had recovered it. It looked like he was recovering it. I was praising him for being ahead of BX. And he shot himself in the foot. And now he's comfortably off the back of BX and right in front of Mumu. right as Millis is actually putting the foot down against Kellen as well. Jensen is out on a medium tyre and is actually out in second place. Well, that kind of puts into perspective how much he's done in this race. There's a 30-second advantage for Lewis, who should pit at the end of the next lap. We'll see if there's going to be anything for Millis. He's currently running against Kellen. BX no longer has any sort of threat to deal with, so BX can now focus forward again. It has been a terrible day at the office here for FGR, but this might make it be a little bit better. Oh, it looked like Millis was going for a move on the exit there. Doesn't quite get it on Kellen. Kellen seems to be suffering just a little bit more than Millis is right now. These two still have the fuel to go for, well, Kellen still have to go for a long time on terms of fuel, but Millis is going to go in at the end of the in a couple of laps time here, I think. Down the inside again looks Millis, just doesn't get anything on the inside. Once again, Millis is trying, gives himself an opportunity, should look to the inside here. Lewis is now into the pits. Millis again just doesn't get too aggressive against Kellen in trying to force the issue. Jensen has started to clear himself back off into the distance now. 2.3 seconds is the gap there. We'll see if there's going to be any pushback here. So Lewis is out the pits now, and he is not out ahead of Jensen. He is not even close to out ahead of Jensen. Jensen's got about a 2.5 second advantage. Kellen almost got on the inside of Lewis there. I'm surprised. Lewis has maybe put in a little bit too much fuel here. Or something of that nature. Here comes Millis to the inside of Kellen. He's had to do this for a while now. It has almost happened. Can he get a good enough round the outside here? He can. And Millis is ahead of Kellen, and it's finally happened. It had to move long in the making. Kellen's picked up a half second of boot, so BX is going to be right there and thereabouts. That is a move that's had to happen for Millis for a while. Oh, and again, Millis just sliding the car. The FGR drivers have sat the car, not really liking that downhill section before the back straight. There's Kellen's penalty kicking in, so BX is now ahead of him. Vigo will close that gap to Kellen just a little bit. Not really enough for it to matter. He is still ahead of Moomin. Rather surprisingly, fair enough to be honest with you. I thought Moomin would have cleared it by now. Attingren is actually closing in as well. So Yannick is at the back of the grid now with Lotari and Ahmed, then Cameron, then Badabig, Alessandro in 10th right now, doing a decent job for ITM. So Attingren is now into the pits. So does Kellen with 23% of fuel. So he'll not put too much in. He'll comfortably clear a bunch of drivers here. The real question is he going to clear Alessandro company? Or is he going to have to do some fighting? The answer is he's going to have to do a lot of fighting. He is a long way back. On the group in front, he's 5.5 seconds off the back of Latari. Okay. That is a lot of fighting that he's going to have to do then, just to even get himself back into the top 10. I was not expecting that. Not expecting that in the slightest. Oh, that didn't look good there for Cameron. Almost Ahmed picking that up. It looked like Ahmed was really going to give him a run for his money. They might do now, though! Ahmed to the inside, picking up on the mistake! And Cameron surrendered the position of Ahmed. Latari is there as well. Is he going to be able to... Is Latari going to take advantage? I'm tired of screaming at everyone at this point. Ahmed still has the advantage over Cameron, who still has the advantage over Latari for now. Cameron will have to pit again. Latari doesn't have to. Ahmed doesn't have to. Millis is now into the pits off the medium tyres. Don't forget Jensen and Lewis have both pit already. Looks like Ahmed has got himself clear of Cameron now. Then Latari not able to take too much of advantage. Millis is in. Vigo is in. And that leaves us with BX, who should actually be able to go to the end with a little bit of fuel saving here. 3.2 seconds ahead of Mumu, with Zico after that, and then Alessandro currently in 6th. I think he might be running to the end from here as well. Alessandro might be in for a great day for ITM. He's the only one, but he might be in for a great day for the team. No FGR driver in sight at the moment. Back to 11th they go. Millis in 11th, Vigo in 12th. They are going to have to put on something special now. Kellen 2.8 seconds up the road. Latari ahead of that. And then it's Ahmed 1 seconds up on that one. So that means Cameron has pit. Yep, and he's pit to the back of the grid. By quite some way. Pit lane a lot longer than I thought it was, by the looks of things then. Ahmed 2.4 seconds off the back of Badabig, who's 3.4 off the back of Alessandro, so nothing really happening there. But yeah, it's currently spoiling the perfect day. I wonder whether or not that's going to continue on. They continue on here. Mumu cutting a second out. At the moment, cutting it down to 2.5 with BX 2.4 up on 4th place. Just what on 1 2 3 watch. It's only happened well, it hasn't happened before this season. NWR did it earlier on in the season. I think it was Laguna Seca they 1 2 3 the first race of the season. This time they're trying to double up. I don't think they got the fastest lap of the race in that in Laguna. This time they're trying to go perfect every single available point. And that would be the first time that's happened in ALR history if they can do that. 2.2, the advantage from BX to Mumu. We are approaching ALR history here. Ahmed is just dropping back. Latari starting to pick him up, trying to pick him off. Apex has had someone in Lobby A every single week this season. Usually it's Panic Potato, and he's usually in the top 10 as much as he can be. He's great over one lap. Race pace just suffers with the mistakes. Puts him in a similar boat to BX 9 times out of 10. This week is Latari, and Latari has just existed. He's just been the one to pick off the other team's mistakes. And I think Apex would absolutely love a top 10 from Latari here. Ahmed, not that far in front. There may be a top half finish here. Or just outside the top half finish. Available for Latari. Badabig losing time. As well to Ahmed and company. Further back, so again, this is an opportunity for the cars behind just to start picking up the pace, just to find an opportunity to get that 7th place. Don't forget 7th being the top half of the grid. Alessandro seems to have done that comfortably well for ITM this week. It's now 1 second between Mumu and BX, so I don't know what BX did on the last lap, but he has been absolutely charged down now. And whether or not we thought it would be interesting, well, it would be possible for BX to try and defend that. The answer is definitely no now. Still got 8.5 laps to go. There is no way he defends this. At the back of the grid, not an awful lot. Not anything actually is happening at the back of the grid. They're all separated by quite some distance. Latari 1.6 out of Kellen, so Kellen might be able to try and poke his nose into this fight. As Latari is going right after Ahmed. Ahmed now 1.7 behind Badabig. That gap just coming slowly down as well. It looks like the biggest danger of things changing is for that third position, that bottom step of the podium, and then this group we've got right now. Badabig just getting chased down just a little bit. We'll see if that's going to continue on. Kellen has really caught to the back of this now. Kellen on soft, remember. Might be able to just pick apart Atari and pick apart Ahmed. And depending on how quickly he can get through these two, he might be able to pick apart Badabig as well. Badabig again, losing 0.2 of a second, dropping 1.9 to 1.7. RCZ looks pretty good in a straight line. The cornering, which is usually its strength, is not so much. Now at this point in time, Alessandro has caught all the way up to the back of Zico. Alessandro may be in a spot in the top 5. Mumu has got ahead of BX. Well, let's have a look. It's actually not going to let us see, so we can only assume they happen into turn 2. And Mumu gets up in a third now then. And all of a sudden, that perfect day is going to be complete. Well, the 1, 2, 3 is going to be complete. That'll be the second time they've done that this season. But I think Vigo's just stolen the fastest lap away from them. So the perfect day is no longer on the cards. The perfect day is no longer on the cards. Lewis almost having a moment there. That might have brought Mumu and BX into that fight. I don't really think they've got enough time either to realistically throw a pit stop in there. So they have got to find a way to get that fastest lap back for a perfect day. And I don't think they've got the chance to do it. Alessandro right now is tearing through BX. Through Zico, sorry. Not BX. BX is 11.5 seconds up the road. Alessandro, far better tyres on the faster strategy. Opportunity at the top 5 awaits ITM. Would be a glorious day if Alessandro can manage that. Taking the points off for Project Platypus. And he goes to the outside of turn 1. And he has got himself into the top 5. Got himself into the top 5, and now the chance to drive away. Big hole of points going ITN's way at the moment. They look to try and solidify that top 5 spot. This will do a lot of damage to it. To try and get them there. Especially if you can keep ending having someone get toward that top 5 every week. Don't forget, there's only 2 more weeks after this race to get yourself into that top 5 spot, to get yourself into week 7 and 8. And you have to be on the dance floor to be able to win it. Alessandro looks to be carrying that team on his back at the moment. Especially here at Grand Valley. BX has now dropped to second off. So Alessandro has got himself a clear opportunity. Badabig is now only 1.3 seconds ahead of Ahmed, ahead of Latari. And Latari is being fought right to the end now by Millis and by Kellen as well. Millis has got himself involved. He's been nowhere for a long time. And now the opportunity arises for FGR to steal some last second points. Limit the damage. I wonder if that is really if that is really going to happen here. Kellen going to the outside now at turn 1 against Latari. He should have a better run. He's got the better tyre. He's got the dive to the inside. If I was Millis, I'd try and use the hole. It isn't going to work, but Kellen will get Latari. And that should put an end to Latari's chance of the top 10 as well. I reckon Millis is just going to do a number on him really quickly here. Oh, and there's a contact Latari on Kellen. And it's blocked Millis on the way through as well. Millis tried to get round. He just got roadblocked by the 2 cars in front of him. Latari went into the side of Kellen, and that kind of just halts all 3 of their progress. Ahmed and Badabig aren't going to complain. It gives them a little bit of breathing space. Millis is now going to go to the inside. This is going to be the dive. This is going to be the move. I think there may have been a little bit of contact on the way through there. And there, Latari's not particularly happy. The flashing of the lights indicates he has been hit on the way through. He is still flashing the lights at Millis as well. I assume that's going to be a problem for that might be a report. There might be a report for the corner right before as well. Especially if Kellen isn't able to capitalise to get Ahmed. Oh, Kellen! That's not a good way to do it. Into the wall he goes. He bounces off. He's avoided any damage. He got lucky. But it does put him at arm's length for Millis now. Millis has got to run. He could potentially get 9th. That'll be 2 places taken for FGR. Here comes Kellen defending the outside. Millis is going to go even wider. Millis is going to go to the inside. A little bit of switchback, but that door is slammed shut. And Kellen is losing a little bit of time there. Millis is up in the 9th. Millis is going to go after Ahmed now. And Badabig. Those 2 not really doing much damage further forward. Ahmed has closed the gap again since the last time we saw it, down to a 2nd. I think there's going to be more of a pressure coming from behind than there is going forward. Zico, half a second penalty. He is really struggling now as well. Badabig is just starting to close that gap. And Zico's going to be under fire from a number of drivers at the end of this one. Alessandro's going to be in his own little world. He has actually closed a few seconds on BX. Might be too little too late to really do a number on him. The front 3, well and truly in clear daylight. We will keep an eye on them as we go along. Badabig right on the back of Zico now. With Ahmed there and Millis in the car behind. Then Kellen after that. Latari and then Vigo. Vigo has got himself involved in the fight now as well. Badabig looking at Zico every corner now. Badabig looking to the outside, switching the look to the inside. Down the back straight, down the home straight rather. Gets alongside, gets in front, and won't even need turn 1. And Badabig is up in a 6th. Zico is in a lot of trouble. He's tried the 1 stop, it has not worked. He is in a world of pain now. Ahmed the next car up. If I'm Ahmed, I try this. I try as much as I can every corner just to try and spook Zico into something. You've got to go attacking, because if he doesn't go attacking, Millis will pick him off. Because look at that, there's the white and the yellow and the black of FGR around the outside! Oh, this would be brilliant if Millis can hang this! This would be completely unexpected and be one hell of a move! Oh, the little bit of contact forces him wide. And that move isn't going to stick. He is going to have the inside line following against Ahmed though. And the first move won't stick. The second one will. Still side by side down the hill. They're still there. Ahmed is under fire, and Millis is ahead. Oh, Zico on Millis as well. Millis up in the 7th now. We got Zico very quickly. Zico down in the 9th now. 2.1 to Badabig in front for Millis. I don't really know if that's recoverable in the next 3.5 laps, but we'll see. Zico trying to go after Ahmed. Ahmed going after Millis. Millis is going to have to do some defending. He defends to the inside. He's still there on the inside with Ahmed. Millis is up ahead. Stayed ahead of Ahmed, who stayed ahead of Zico with Latari, who is in 10th, who's managed to stick with. Fair play for him for that. Vigo and Kellen trying to chase him down. Kellen looking round the outside. This would be impressive. Kellen's got a half-second penalty. And now allow Vigo to try and follow through a hole. Doesn't really exist right now. Well, you've got a mid-pack fighting for the lives in the middle here. Latari! Oh, he's in the wall. He's in the wall. He got damaged. He just lost the rear of the car. And he was doing so well to try and hang on into 10th, but he isn't going to be able to. And I think he's just now damned to the fate of 12th. Vigo's passed. Vigo's about to go past Kellen as well, as he'll steal a couple of late lap points. Kellen shares his half second. There goes Vigo. Latari's going to have the damage, which will prevent him from getting by. Kellen just going to defend that inside. Latari just lost the back end of the car and then got squashed. That is incredibly unfortunate. Doing extremely well to defend. Vigo is going to pick off Zico really quickly here as well. As we'll get FGL will pick up a little bit more points to damage to stop the well, to limit the damage. The best way of putting that. Kellen is now under 5 from Latari. Zico and Vigo going at each other. The inside lane, turn 1 for Vigo, which means he'll have to go round the long way in turn 2. He is going the long, long way. But it won't matter, he's ahead. Vigo up in the 9th. Kellen the next car up, who has defended well from Latari. Miller's still ahead of Badabig. Still behind Badabig for now, sorry, but it's now within a second and a lap and a half to go. Alessandro 5 seconds clear at P5, but still 5 seconds off the back of BX as well. He's done a lot of damage on BX, but he hasn't really done enough to catch up to him by the end of this race. Millis is catching Badabig at the rate of knots. We'll see if there's going to be any more points in this for Millis. If he gets 6th after the spins and everything in this race, I think he could take that. I think he would be somewhat okay with that. It's been a bad day all round for FGR, to be completely honest with you. He'll feel a little bit better about himself if he can get himself into the top 6 here. He is right on the back of Badabig. Badabig's going to have to put up some all-time defense now to realistically hold on to this 6th place on the medium tide. It's not happening. It is not remotely close to happening. Billis should have him dead to rights here. Badabig right up to the wall. If he's going to get Vigo, Vigo's going to have to go the long way round unless he gets it done in turn 1. They're now on the final lap. On the inside of turn 1 goes Millis. He is ahead for now, but he's going to have to go the long way round on Badabig, who defends the inside a little bit wide of the turn. Using the entirety of the track to try and stop Millis in his path. He has gone ahead and done it. Badabig is now going to have to defend again, but Millis has gone to the inside. And much like Badabig tried on the first corner, Millis does the same in return, and Millis has got himself ahead. Up in the 6th goes the German. And the Dutchman had nothing to do, and no defence to that. Ahmed still ahead of Vigo. One more German trying to steal a couple of points. Oh, Ahmed sliding the car. To continue on, we might go to the front actually with a moment. Because they're going round the final couple of corners. So we will go to the front with Jensen in the lead. It's not a perfect day, but it might as well be. With NWR, the Burgundy Reds winning the race. With Jensen at Grand Valley. Lewis will get second. Mumu will come over for ALR's second. 1, 2, 3. In the same season after it hadn't been done in 7. Well, in 6 before. The 7th season produces 2. BX will get 4th. He only ended up about 4.5 seconds clear of Alessandro, who's had a great day. Miller's in the head of Badabig. You've got Ahmed and Vigo in the background. And they drag race to the line. And I think Vigo's going to win it. Vigo to the line. Beats out Ahmed by half a tenth. Kellen then beats out Zico. And Latari only just loses out to Zico. Artingren in 13th. With Yannick coming over in 14th and Cameron tailed off last. I feel like there may be a couple of penalties going on. Vigo gets an extra couple of points right at the death. And so does Miller. So FGR did about as much as they could to actually limit as much of the damage from their own mistakes as possible. But again, the second time this season where NWR have gone 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think you might be able to start ringing that bell. It's only halfway through the season, but they have a commanding lead. It's a type of lead you don't usually see overturned. FGR have got them, they've got their work cut out for them now. Good day at the office for Alessandro. Badabig did well as well. But the highlights all go to NWR today. That is for certain. I'm not actually sure, Alessandro, who you have to thank, to be honest with you. But with that being said, I hope everyone enjoyed the race today. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and everything else that you do if you like this stream. And join us again next week. Same time. Same place, 8 PM UK. Feel free to translate that into whatever time zone you may be in. But for round 5 here then. With that being said, I will see you guys next week. Peace.